Well, the North Carolina Supreme Court listened to arguments today as the NAACP is challenging amendments passed by voters almost now 4 years ago.
Well, these amendments include a measure to require residents to show their ID before voting. Now, the defendants claim that the GOP majority in 2018 came to be after Republicans unconstitutionally drew districts for their political advantage. The NAACP says that advantage initiated the process that led to the voter ID amendment, among other changes. Here to break it all down, to better understand everything, our chief legal correspondent, Seema Iyer, here to explain all of this for us.
All right, so Seema, originally this was a voter ID case, but then now we also have this element of racial gerrymandering. Kind of connect that and for people to understand what we're talking about.
Okay, so first of all, we spend a lot of time talking about this, and we know that racial gerrymandering is against the law. The other redistricting case that we're waiting for the timeline, that is in fact partisan gerrymandering, okay? But the easiest way to explain this is to first start off with the timeline of this entire history of the case. So let's begin with 2017. In 2017, the United States Supreme Court heard a North Carolina case, and it said that there was some unconstitutional racial gerrymandering in that case. Now, move forward, that same General Assembly that the United States Supreme Court said was a result of unconstitutional gerrymandering, they passed certain amendments. That was in 2018. And then in 2019, those amendments were struck down. But then September of 2020, the Court of Appeals reverses it and says these amendments can actually stand. And the two amendments that were before the Supreme Court, the North Carolina Supreme Court today, one was the voter identification, so that matters, right? How people can vote. And the second one is a tax cap. And although that sounds pretty financial, it's really not, because it's arguing that the cap discriminates against certain people living in certain neighborhoods.
So if the highest court there did find that there was racial gerrymandering, how can these same lawmakers go out and do this same type of thing here?
Okay, so this is when it gets a little confusing, but I'm going to harken back to this Court of Appeals, because they're the ones who reversed it.
Right.
And basically they're saying that in order for them to just change these laws, then we go to something called the Chaos and Confusion Doctrine, and that means that that General Assembly, we have to go back and change all of the laws that they in fact created. And this Court of Appeals, they specifically said that the trial court, the lower court, was attempting to blue pencil the powers of the legislative branch. And the also important note is that this Court of Appeals referred to the U.S. Supreme Court, looked at that case, and said that court specifically ordered the same General Assembly to redraw their maps. So they really weren't saying that they had to take the legislative powers out of their hands. That even though that this redistricting needed to be done, it wasn't that this General Assembly wasn't still lawful to make laws. And it's really important to note, some districts were in fact legal districts, right? So there's still voters that should be able to use their power to vote. And another term that was thrown around a lot today in the arguments was popular sovereignty, and that is the will of the people. So even though some of the districts may not reflect the will of the people, there are still a lot of voters who wanted these amendments. And specifically, again, we're talking about this voter ID and the tax cap.
Okay, so not to be confusing here, but I almost feel like I have a case of deja
vu,
because I feel like the same court essentially gave the same group of GOP defendants until this Friday to be able to draw these maps. So are these, when you talk about the May primaries in time for that, are these cases connected?
Okay, so number one, you're right. It's connected because it's the same court, right? So we could see the same ruling. Number two, it's connected because the voter ID laws, like how are these people expected to vote in these primaries? And finally, I think that, yeah, we are expecting that the North Carolina Supreme Court will, in fact, make a decision on this case very soon, because these amendments really hang in the balance, and all of this, again, is this redistricting watch that we are now on this week. And again, that's Friday, 5 p.m.
All this matters our vote for all of us across the state of North Carolina here. There's a lot to be impacted here.
Right, exactly. I mean, this really does affect us all. Like, does our vote matter? And both of these cases really reflect how at least important everyone in North Carolina is making this.
Yeah.